In C++, we can make operators to work for user-defined classes. This means C++ has the ability to provide the operators with a special meaning for a data type. This ability is known as operator overloading. Let's take a look at the syntax for implementing an operator overloaded function. Specify the return type and the function name has to be operator, and the hash symbol will be replaced by whichever operator you're trying to overload, and then specify arguments if any. You have to take care of certain rules while overloading an operator overloaded function in C++. You can implement an operator overloaded function either as a member function of a class or as a friend function. If you are overloading a unary operator as a member function of your class, the operator overloaded function should not take any argument. If you are overloading a binary operator as a member function of the class, the operator overloaded function should take one argument. Same way, if you are overloading a unary operator as a friend function of the class, there should be one argument to the function, and while overloading a binary operator as a friend function of the class, there should be two arguments to an operator overloaded function. Let's see about overloading a unary operator. So unary operators are those operators which works on single operand. Few examples for the same are increment operator, decrement operator, unary minus operator, and logical not operator. So let's implement a program and understand how we are overloading a unary operator. Operator overloaded function either as a member function of a class or as a friend function of the class. So let's first see how to write an operator overloaded function as a member function of a class. So let's write a program to overload a unary increment operator. We'll see it as a pre-increment operator as a member function of the class. So let's create a class. So let me name it as test. Now let me add an entity I, which is the data member of your class, and let it remain private. I'll add a constructor to the class. So let me work with a default constructor and let me initialize the data member I to 0 here. Let me add a display function that is displaying the value of I, the data member. So now we'll implement our operator overloaded function. So recollect the syntax, specify the return type of your function. So let me keep it as void as my function is not returning anything. Then since it is an operator overloaded function, you have to name it as operator. Then you have to specify the operator that you are going to overload. We are going to overload a unary increment operator. Then as per the rule, since we are implementing it as a member function and since the operator is a unary operator, my function cannot take any argument. So this you will have to leave it empty because of the rule. So now you can write the body of your function. So let me write it as incrementing the value of my data member. So this is an operator overloaded function implemented as member function of the class. Now let's see how to invoke these functions. So let me write a main. Now here I'll create an object to the class. So test, let obj be the object to the class. So the moment you create an object to the class, the constructor will be invoked here, and as written, the data member I will be initialized to 0. So after this statement, if you call the display function obj.display, so you can see the output for this statement will be I equal to 0. The next statement is going to invoke your operator overloaded function. So for the same, use the operator and then specify your object name. So if I say ++obj, this will be a call to the overloaded function, operator overloaded function. The operator along with the user defined data type. So here the user defined data type is nothing but our object. So this statement becomes a call to the operator overloaded function. So it binds with the function definition here where you are incrementing the data member. So in the previous statement, the data member is initialized to 0. So after that, when you do an increment to that, the value becomes 1. So after this statement, if you make a call to the display function. So after this, if you call the display function, you can see the output will be 1, obj.display. So here you can see the I value will be incremented and you can see the output will be displayed as I equal to 1. Let's build and verify our program. So you can see your output here, I equal to 0, I equal to 1. So this is how you write an operator overloaded function for a unary operator as a member function of the class. Now let's modify our program. So we'll implement this operator overloaded function as the friend function of the class. So I'll just remove this member function and now I'll make this as a friend function of the class. So how to write a friend function? Use the keyword friend and this declaration has to be done within the class. Specify the return type. So void, specify your function name. So since it is an operator overloaded function, the function name will be operator followed by the operator whichever you are going to overload. Now here you have to follow the rule. Whenever you are overloading a unary operator as a friend function of the class, there should be one argument to the function. So what is that argument? Obviously the object of the class. So here since it is the declarative statement, you just have to specify your class name. So this is an operator overloaded function implemented as a friend function of the class. So now you have to define the same. So come out of the class, remove the keyword friend and then define your function. So operator, specify your operator, then here you have to specify your object name, say T. Now you can implement the function here. So what is the function doing? So our program works fine and we are getting an expected output I equal to 0 and then later on when you invoke the operator overloaded function, it is incremented to 1. So this is how you can overload a unary operator either as a member function of the class or as a friend function of the class.